Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. Today we're going to do an updated character guide on Ace because he just got his FR and FR boards and Echo and all that fun stuff, right? So if you're not familiar with Ace, he is a trap-based damage dealer, so he revolves around putting traps on the enemies that will expire and then they will go off and pop the enemies off turn. So it's a very good off-turn strategy type of character that you can use. So if you like that type of strategy, Ace might be a character you're interested in. So in this video, we're going to look at his calls, his artifacts, his spheres. We'll do a little showcase, see what his damage looks like, and kind of see from there, right? So in terms of calls, we're going to go ahead and start with that. His calls aren't the craziest. I mean, the big notable thing is that the LD will put a trap down. So if you just need like trap on hand, which you might for the current Spiritist fight if you're not bringing an actual trap character, this is a call you could bring to apply a trap because there's a point in that fight where it kind of requires a trap, right? So if you need an access to a trap, the call can work for that. The 15 is just an attack up to the person who calls, so it's not really like the craziest thing, but the trap is notable, right? So with that, let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and take a look at the artifacts and the spheres. So for artifacts with Ace, I would say you want to go attack 108 and spiral ends boost. So it's going to be like a double attack buff. And attack is pretty important on him because his traps are doing a lot of brave hits. And those brave hits are going to be doing better damage scaled on his attack, right? So brave damage and attack are going to be pretty important for Ace. You want to get a lot of damage out of those traps. So that's what I would go with there. And then for spheres, you just want to go attack brave damage spheres. Now, my spheres for sure are not optimal. What I kind of did with my Ace was I just kind of looked at some full spheres that I have, especially for the Ace slot, that I thought were good triggers for him. So I know that Ace, because he's off-turn damage, he will steal a lot of breaks. So characters like Core and these other off-turn characters can break a lot. So spheres that have a break condition can be good. So I decided to pull my lightning sphere out because I hadn't used it on anybody. It is an attack up when inflicting break. And his traps are going to be going off constantly. And anytime an enemy gets unbroken, his trap is probably what's going to break them. So I just thought it would be a nice, easy trigger for him. Same thing. I thought Cisne's was actually, or not Cisne, sorry, Sync. I thought Sync's was kind of an interesting idea on him because it is a break trigger. And it's like a brave gain sphere when he breaks. So I thought that could be kind of interesting to like help the traps do more damage, to like break, get more brave gain, deal more damage. So I thought Sync, this is kind of an interesting spot to maybe put it. So I decided to put it there. But if you're going very traditional, I mean, you could throw down like Sephiroth. You could just do like standard brave damage up, attack and max brave combos. Stuff like that would be just fine. I'd say the Ace slot is very flexible. I kind of had some fun with mine based on what I thought would be nice triggers for Ace. And then the D slot, there's just a whole bunch of party attack ups. Just pick one. So I did Saz. I happen to have one just sitting there. So that's going to be a good party attack up. All right, so with that, we are going to hop into the showcase. But Ace, I do believe, actually, I got to check out. I didn't even look at like his new weapons here. He just looks weird with that. He's got to be having the cards. How's his FR looking? Oh, that FR is pretty cool. Sure, we'll try that out. We'll equip the FR. But Ace, does Ace have a mannequin weapon? Actually, I don't think he does. No, they didn't do a protagonist. So we don't have to talk about an extra weapon, so that's good. But I did realize I'm in the wrong fight. So I want to showcase like an off-turn strat, so I do have a fight in mind. So let me just hop into that fight really, really quick. And I believe it is, oh gosh, it's been a while since I've gone into it, but it's Chapter 9. And then I think there should be a Ultimisia fight. And I'm pretty sure it's on a different floor. Yeah, it's this Alticia fight. It's been a while since I've gone into this one. Yeah, it's this one right here. All right, we're going to go into this fight because in particular, this fight is very aggressive. And it's very good for showcasing off turn. Now, what I want to do is I think I want to make sure I have some good calls on for this. Just because they're going to be really aggressive early. And I want to make sure right away I can throw down like a Raijin or something so I don't instantly die. But I think we should have some definite fun here. So let's go. And actually, we could do Rydia too. The thing with the way his traps work, right? Unlike other like counter-based characters, the traps don't depend on like the enemies actually hitting you. They just need to take turns. So Rydia dodging out is actually okay. So we're going to go ahead and throw a couple of those calls on. I don't really have anything in particular in mind for Ace, but what we might do for fun is we'll throw down a Maria call just to have extra traps going. The summon, what I might do for the summon is, yeah, we'll do Bahamut because that's going to give him an attack down. All right, so now in particular, you're going to notice this is very different from my typical showcase team. Because I just want to showcase some ways that a character like Ace can be abused. So we're going to do a combo with Iris and Dorgann. We already know why Iris and Dorgann are so good. Iris makes enemies unbreak easily. Dorgann, every time an enemy is broken, is going to counterattack. Well, what's going to happen is Iris is going to be making them unbreak easily. Ace's traps are going to be popping off. We're going to be getting a ton of Dorgann off turn every time Ace's traps hit off turn. So it's going to be kind of a really fun little wombo combo that we can do. So with that, let's hop into the showcase and see what happens. I might actually bring a friend unit here because Iris I do have for force charging, but it would be nice just to pop off. Yeah, let's just get like an Aerith so I can just really quickly just get a bunch of force charging in for the force time. All right, let's go ahead. It's got to download some new Ace moves because we just pulled his FR. By the way, if you did not see my summon video for Ace, it was quite epic. You definitely need to check it out. I don't know if you can have much better luck than what happened to your boy. Alright, so I think she's going to come up and just hit us like right away. Hopefully just nothing too lethal here, right? Okay, so Iris, let's go ahead and we're just right away going to get Raijin on. It's exactly what I want. I just wanted my boy Raijin like immediately. And of course we're getting the break damage with Dorgann. Oh yes. And we're going to be seeing a lot of it. You're going to be seeing a lot of Dorgann in this video. We're just going to put it that way. Which is kind of crazy because Dorgann was supposed to get his Echo this month and he wasn't on there. And he's making a lot of sense for this month. So I hope they bring him out soon, man. He combos really well with some of these characters. Okay. So now what I want to do is let's just grab Aerith quick. And we'll just pump out the force charging. That way we don't have to depend on Iris to do it as much. We'll just use the friend to just eat up some force gauge here. Just go all the way through till this Aerith is done. Make sure we're super, super duper fully healed. The nice thing with the character like Ace 2, it's not even that you have to use his force time. Being that he's a trap-based character, he can work really great with other trap-based FRs like, say, Maria, or just other off-turns like even like Minwoo, because I think you can enchant him for Holy and his off-turn would be like Holy Traps. Like, so you can do a lot of fun stuff with the character like Ace for sure. I want you guys just to keep in mind as we watch the showcase, a character like Ace is intended to do like a bunch of damage over time with the traps. So I would not be surprised if his actual on-turn damage seems maybe a little underwhelming compared to other damage dealers. But we'll see. I haven't looked at it yet. All right, so Iris, we'll do one potion pass, and then we're going to go ahead and hit her BT effect right away. So we can just see the effect of how like her and Dorgann and Ace are all going to kind of go crazy. So yeah, let's just BT effect right away. Now what this does, because I used her BT effect, it means I can't force charge with her anymore because I don't want to eat up her BT turns. But I think 8 turns should be plenty. We should be fine. And the enemies are going to be doing a bunch of off turn. And Dorgann's going to be doing a bunch of off turn, which is great. Alright, so Dorgann, what do we want to do with my boy Dorgann? I mean, they have, well, they're going to be taking a bunch of turns. But right now I think we're okay without the Rydia. I think we are good. So let's just pop an LD. And then finally getting an Ace turn. The guy that we are actually showcasing, right? Alright, so with Ace, you definitely want to open with LD because this is going to get his traps kind of started, right? And you can see the enemies are already unbreaking. So let's go ahead. Oh yeah, the FR is going to be way down there. Actually, let's have some fun. Let's throw Maria call down just for some extra shenanigans, some extra traps. Sure. Why not? And then once again, every time we break, like, it's going to go crazy. And it doesn't matter if it's a trap or whatever. Alright, so now Ace here. Let's go and do the LD. This is called Jackpot Triad. You'll want to open with this because this gets his traps, like, kind of started. So let's talk about this. So you're going to notice he just inflicted a 1-turn trap, which doesn't seem that crazy. But the way his trap works is kind of interesting. So Jackpot Triad does the big AoE attack there. It does give him 3 cards in his overhead. So when his overhead has 3 cards, he's getting an attack up, max brave up, and speed up. Nothing too crazy there. It's kind of a very generic overhead, to be honest. He's going to get a buff called Suzuku's trump card. And it's a stacking buff. So he's going to get 3 stacks to this. It's going to be an attack up, max brave up, brave stolen up, HP damage up, and then a party brave damage up and overflow stolen up. And a lot of those stats get better based on the stack. So just know that as your stacks go up, you get more stats from that. The big thing is it puts a trap down called hole card, okay? And what this hole card is, it just sits there and it does nothing. And what you want to think of it is like a face down card. Think of it like Yu-Gi-Oh, like a Yu-Gi-Oh trap card. It's like a face down trap card, right? What's going to happen is when the enemies take a turn, it's going to expire down to 0 and it's going to flip over and it's going to become an actual trap that's going to last like 5 turns. And then once that trap is actually on, then they're going to start taking trap damage every time they take a turn. Now you can force the card to flip over. If you do another attack that inflicts hole card, it will, and hole card is already up, it actually just flips the card. So if you need to offensively flip it yourself, you can. Let's go ahead with Iris. Iris can just moonbow is fine. And what do you know? We broke an enemy. What's Dorgann gonna do? Oh yeah, and he broke another enemy. What's Dorgann gonna do? I mean, it's crazy. Alright. Dorgann doesn't really need to do anything special here. We can just throw down an attack. I'm kind of tempted. Let's just do Rydia. Just because I know that Raijan's going to fall off pretty quick here. But I do want them to take turns so that we can get the actual traps kind of flowing, right? We'll just hit that button there. Alright. So now, oh, Dorgann just going crazy with the breaking here. Alright, yes, double image slashes, yes. Okay. So now, finally, once Ultimecia attacks, we are going to see the effect. Although we're breaking so much off turn, it's almost counterproductive. Luckily, they're breaking backwards, but if we kept breaking them the right way, like we could almost break them to the point that they can't actually get turns. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. But anyways, Ultimecia finally getting a turn. Maybe. Are we in an infinite loop right now? I kind of feel like we're in an infinite loop. Did we just cause an infinite loop? I think we did. Dude, we just made an infinite loop by mistake. We are actually infinite looping right now. This is kind of interesting. All right, finally Ultimecia steals a turn. Okay, jeez. Oh, it's because the Maria trap fell off. But while Maria trap was up, we had a loop, which is kind of crazy. But now you can see that Ace's trap is flipped. It's actually a 6-turn trap, which is very good. Thank goodness we had Raijan on, because that enemy tried confusing us. And we had Rydia, so yeah, that was good, because I remember this guy confuses. Alright. But this is good, because Ultimecia likes to go crazy here, and then watch, like, the traps are going to just go off. And it's on both enemies, right? So it's going to trigger... Each time either enemy takes a turn, those traps just keep going off, right? Okay, so now with Ace, I mean, we can try to kind of get some stuff going. Notice he has a special HP plus. This is called Blind Stud Turn. This also inflicts Hole Card. So what you want to do is the LD and the HP plus are the only way to like re-inflict the trap. So you want to make sure you save those for when you need to do it. If you're like in a rush, like let's say you use the LD and you get Hole Card and you want to like aggressively give the enemies the trap, you can hit the HP plus to like turn the card over. But I usually just kind of save it until I want to reapply it. But let's get BT effect up right away. Just so we can have that going. And his BT effect is kind of unique like Garnet's, where when it expires, he actually does like a big attack at the end, which is pretty cool. So 1.2 mil, so he's got very standard on-turn damage so far. Nothing like in terms of his damage is like, oh my god, that's like crazy, right? But these off-turn characters, we've seen how crazy it is over time, how much damage you get, especially during an FR, right? Once again, traps going off. Now, when the enemies are really aggressive, the traps are going to go down very, very quickly, right? Now, the other thing is, while the trap is up, if we do re-inflict the trap, it should just upgrade to 6 turns. So that's another way you can do it to be aggressive. So let's talk about the BT, because we just did that. His BT's been around a long time. He's one of the oldest BTs in the game. In fact, he might be the very first one. So he did the big AoE attack you saw there. Now, his burst effect, which has been upgraded, right? It does stack after each of his attacks. So it is a stacking BT. So right now it's at 1 stack. But it's going to give Overflow Stolen up, Attack up, Max Brave up, HP damage up, and HP damage limit up to the party. And once you're at 3 stacks, the numbers are actually very good on it. It triggers a special attack called We Are Right Here when it expires. And it just does a very, very large attack to the party, or to the enemies, right? Alright, so Iris, we don't really need to do anything crazy with you. I do not believe so. So let's just Moonbow. And I think we're ready to hit Ace's FR. I know we haven't done the 15 and 35 yet. They are just like so basic. Like we'll just do them during force time, but they're super basic. They're just filler attacks. Really, Ace is just all about the traps, right? But you can see now the traps already fallen off of Ultimisia, so they do get burned out very quickly, right? That's the last turn of it. So now we're going to have to go ahead and reapply. Dorgann, you can just hit a button. It's fine. Alright, so this is going to be the last trap trigger there. And the nice thing about traps, what you saw there was the enemy had a turn. The trap triggered and broke them. We actually stole the turn from the enemy, which is pretty nice, right? So yeah, let's go ahead and hit the FR. This is called Feather Brigade. I believe this involves Chocobos and Setzer. Very nice combo. Yes, triple Chocobos. Let's go. The closest thing we have to a Chocobo summon. I guess we do have the actual Chocobo summon. It just needs to be upgraded. Nice. All right, so nice Chocobo attack there. Now they're cutting. Now, we'll talk about the FR. I kind of just want to watch these attacks here. But the FR did reapply the trap, right? So you can see it's the one-turn trap. It's going to flip over and it's going to become the actual trap now. And now the blind studs are going off. And now we're getting all the off-turn. And you see how this is crazy, right? Because we're unbreaking with Iris and then the traps are re-breaking and Dorgann just keeps going crazy. And like I said, while the Maria trap was going, we actually had infinite loop, which was kind of crazy. Technically can't be an infinite loop because Maria's traps will run out, but it was kind of crazy for a hot minute there. We had a little loop going. Alright, trying to confuse Dorgann, that's fine. And then traps just going crazy. And this is kind of how it is with Ace. Like you kind of, it's very, once you have it set up, you kind of just sit and watch while the enemies just kill themselves. Right? But I would like to actually do some more Ace attacks. That would be fantastic. Alright, so anyways, while this is all going, you can see we're getting 5% ticks on all these traps, right? So let's talk about the FR now that I finally have a minute where like action isn't happening, even though Dorgann's creating more action. So the FR, Feather Brigade, so it does put the whole card down, so it reapplied the trap. And then basically any magic ability is 5% and it counts for off turn. So unfortunately, like Dorgann's aren't counting. So once again, this isn't maybe like the optimal team for his FR specifically, but I just wanted to show off like a cool combo that you can do, right? And then any stacking buff or effect on your turn is plus 40%. So anytime a character has a buff with like a Roman numeral in it, that counts. And several characters' overhead buffs will count as well. So you may just have to experiment with the character and see if it counts. It's kind of vague the way that they define it, but for sure if they have like a Roman numeral buff, right? So like Ace's BT is like a Roman numeral buff, so that counts, right? And I believe his overhead too with the 3 cards is considered a stacking buff as well. So a couple of ways to get it there. Now with Iris, sure, let's go ahead and echo here. In this type of fight, I do not mind just echoing and going crazy. The question will be, can we get an Ace 15 and 35? Actually, we haven't done the EX either. Kind of slow going with the way this team is operating, but that's okay. So the goal is can we get 3 more Ace attacks in before the enemies die? We'll have to see. I guess actually what I probably should do, I think what I'm going to do on Ace's next turn, even though like you wouldn't want to use his burst phase like for on turn, we might just go into his burst phase just to get attacks in. I don't know. I'm kind of curious. I kind of want to keep riding the off turn. That's why I went into the fight. So let's not do that. Dorgann, sure. Let's do a Dorgann EX. Sure. Pull Ace up. Good. Ace now has back-to-back turns. That's great. Dorgann saving the run so we can actually do some Ace turns here, right? Now, the traps are falling off pretty quick, right? So during a force time, you want to be very aggressive and reapply the traps. But I do kind of just want to... Well, so what I'll do is I will show off an attack, and then we will reapply traps. And actually, we can echo to reapply traps, is I think what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and do... Oh, we haven't even gotten to an EX yet. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the 15 and 35, just because I don't know if I'm going to get them both off. The 15 you want to think of as more of a single target attack. That's Mega Burst. You're going to get the Suzuku trump card. You're going to add a stack to it, and it's going to be a Max Brave up. And then the 35 is Great Spiral combo, and you want to think of that as being an AoE attack. And you get the plus versions of these as long as your trump card is at 5 stacks or more, which we are at. And then just does a base attack up. So let's hit Great Spiral combo. Let's just see what the damage looks like here at 200%. Oh yeah, that was only like 2 mil at 200%. That that wasn't like the craziest, right? So like I said, Ace's on-turn damage isn't the best, but the trap stuff is what makes him really good. All right, so now let's go ahead and oh, we got the EX. I guess I'm gonna do the FR Echo because I want to reapply the whole card, and then on his next turn we'll do the EX and then maybe the we'll do the EX and then show the 15. Little bit longer of a showcase just because of the style of character here, but it's all good. It's all fun. All right, 5 mil we had there on the FR Echo. I mean, the enemies are melting away pretty good. Dorgann, sure, we're due for a Dorgann LD. That's fine. All right, and then we got Iris up. Yes, cut in turn order. Perfect. Embody yourself on the traps. That's totally fine. If we do kill them too soon, I definitely will just talk about the EX, but I do want to see the EX damage. We should get at least one more ace turn, right? I mean, Iris jumping up here is kind of nice. If I only had given her like a turn swapping ability. She can put herself after a character, but she can't. Well, no, she can pull somebody up, can't she? We'll just echo. We'll just echo. That's all good. Because, yeah, her EX could manipulate some more, but that's fine. Like, Ace was coming up next anyways. If I get an Iris turn where, like, Dorgann's coming, then I'll maybe pull Ace up. All right, Ace has a turn. Nice. But, yeah, it's just, I just had to show the combo because all the Dorgann shenanigans here, right? He's just double countering, like, constantly. Okay, so Ace now, let's hit the EX for sure. For sure. Now, this is interesting because you get, like, a random buff with this one. And this is another, okay. Yep, that's going to go like that. Pretty solid damage there, though. So, it's going to do more stacks of the Suzuki's Trump card. And then you get either a red, yellow, blue, or black card. And just note that the actual cards you see floating above him do not indicate what color you have. So even though he has red cards floating above him, that doesn't mean that's the buff that I got, right? The red card is a party attack up, yellow card is party attack and max brave, blue card is party brave regen and HP regen, and black card is an enemy speed down, right? So you actually have to click on Ace, and we got black cards, so we got a speed down on the enemies. And then every time you hit the EX, he'll draw a different card. Just assume that that's just like random stuff you're getting, but you don't really count on that as being like a big part of his kit, right? All right, we've almost actually killed the fight, so pretty good. And you can see we're getting pretty good gains because of all the off turn. We've already killed the side enemy, Ultimisia. So hopefully we can get one more turn here. We can just do the 35. I mean, Ultimisia's trap has worn out, so we should be okay here. All right, I'm going to Brave Attack with Iris because I think if I don't, if we did damage there, we would put her under a threshold and I think she would steal a bunch of turns. So now, actually, is this instant turn rate? It is. All right, I'm going to try to do the Blind Stud turn. So this is the special HP plus. It's instant turn and it puts whole card on. So that's really good. Yeah, she's going to cut, but she's going to get broken right behind us here. So that's fine. You can go ahead and do that. Yep, 0 damage because of Iris. The Iris BT coming in clutch. Oh, Ace got pushed back behind Dorgann somehow. Okay. Chill, Dorgann. We're going to just Brave Attack. Hopefully she doesn't kill herself. She might. Dude, that was like, yeah. That was pretty good damage. Alright, yep. Hold on, let me double check that damage. Oh, it was only 900k. I thought it was like 8 mil. Okay, so yeah, it's smaller damage, but that's the one thing is like with his rework, his traps didn't really get reworked. They're just like single HP dumps, right? So that's why I think people are kind of disappointed in Ace a little bit. All right, well, let's finally do the 15, which is Mega Burst Plus. This is more the single target. I did about 5 mil there. Solid. I mean, for 500%, yeah, his damage definitely isn't like that crazy. It's all about just getting all the off turns. So, like, in a really aggressive fight, it can be very good. It can do a lot of damage. This Dorgann Iris Wombo combo is pretty good. So, we'll go ahead and finish it off here. Pull Ace out. We'll see if we get another attack. This might finish it, yeah. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think of Ace. I think he's okay, but I don't think I would highly recommend him right now, to be honest. But he is a very fun character if you do like him, right? So thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.